I'm going to give you a breakdown of ways to start to build your own personal exploration, whether you call it meditation or self-hypnosis, to review past, parallel, and future timelines as a means to diminish that resistant feeling to this time-space incarnation that you have.
Check out part 1 of Are You a Starseed Who Wants to Go Home to learn more about what's going on in your energy and a few tips about what you can do about it. Link in description.
If you're interested in taking a deeper dive into this, I also did a podcast on this, talking about different aspects of it and going deeper into some other areas. So go find that on my podcast feed. The link is in the description. I'll put some of the notes of what I'm going to give you here in the description. So if you're one who likes to copy and paste, but I do encourage you to make this your own, whatever it is you do with it. First of all, music or no music. It's a personal choice. If you have music, then of course you want it to be something that is less structured. Meditation music is usually pads and synths, or, something that doesn't, and when I say less structured, it doesn't have a song kind of structure, because that's actually going to be a pattern that engages your conscious mind and makes it more difficult to go into state. So music or no music, whatever seems to support you. I'll tell you one tip is that I actually like to wear noise-canceling headphones, because that helps me to immediately go within, because I'm very auditory. And I know other people put on a blindfold because they're very visual, and so turning off the light and the visual stimulus helps them to go within. So music or no music, and supporting the senses in a way that helps them to disconnect from the outside and move within. Now, if you are someone who's newer to meditation, you may need to do a little bit more practice with your meditation in order to condition the conscious mind to quiet down. And so as a tip, generally, and also for this, if you have a harder time quieting the mind, one thing that might help you is to do some kind of movement practice to exhaust the body a bit. Do some nice exercise, because that will help the conscious mind to kind of ease away, to ease off, because you'll have a satiated feeling in the body, and you'll have burnt and spent some of that stressful energy. So that's just a little tip for you for a way to quiet the mind. There are other things you can do too, but that's one of my favorites. Next, when you're going to do a special practice like going into more of a trance meditation, self-hypnosis, so that you can bring in a fuller awareness of your soul's journey. Oh, that's beautiful. That's big. That's sacred. So make it sacred. Set a sacred space. Do something, if it's with aroma, with candles, turning down the lights, bringing in something, the beautiful cloth or pillow or texture, and just really like if you were going to romance your partner, romance your soul, and of course make sure that you have a private space so that you aren't interrupted by animals or family members or friends or phones or electronics, because this is your sacred time. So make it sacred. And if you want to pull some oracle cards first, great. If you want to light the incense, the candles, or whatever makes it feel all soul warmed and romantic for your soul, do that. You deserve it. After setting that sacred space, set the intention. Before you start to move in, set the intention and put in some details to it, but the details are there just to charge up the feeling. We want to release the details and the conditions, but you can also make it a very open, a non-specific, because we really want to get to an unconditional expectation of something positive happening. So set the intention and release any details, because affirm and know that whatever is going to happen is exactly right for where you are in the inclusion of greater awareness of your soul's journey. So maybe if you go in and you just have this time, even you did all the things and you set the space and you have a lovely little peaceful, mindful meditation, or your mind was going, whatever is happening, that's just perfect. That is that step on this journey for this time. It is exactly what your higher self is nurturing you into the next time and the next time. So we want to accept that we set the intention and then affirm that the intention will be met before, during, and on the other side of it. Okay, now we're moving into the actual practice of the meditation. I like a two-part induction or a setting of moving into the state. First, I like to do a grounding. This is first using the portal and the awareness of the body and bringing the body into it. So a grounding visualization such as growing roots, being a tree, connecting with the earth. There are many different options that you can use for your grounding. And the second part of it is transcending. So we ground and we transcend. All the while we're doing any of this, as we're starting, we are focusing on calming the body, bringing relaxation to the body, and then that will bring relaxation to the mind, and then that will open the spirit. So grounding and transcending. Transcending, for me, one of my favorite ways to transcend is to bring a column or a pillar of light, visually, sensory, all of the inner senses, whether they are the clairvoyant or the clairaudience or the clairsentience, anything, just the knowing of the column of light, which is the pure divine light, coming into the field, moving through the whole energy in the body, opening, brightening, and activating the chakras. And that's one that's really great. And then the light goes all the way through and connects down into the earth again. So we go full circle with our grounding and transcending. That serves as our induction, and then we want to allow the mind to clear completely. It's clearing the mind, and yet it's also mindfulness. So those inductions of grounding and transcending, whatever kind of imagery you utilize, helps the mind to focus. That's a mindfulness, and then it will help it, you then actually have management over it, and then it can clear. The clearing of the slate entirely is where we start to co-create. We want to be in the co-creative, imaginal realm where everything is happening and being in the co-creation rather than being on our own and not really in state and fantasizing. But you know what that feels like. So we cross through the portal of mindfulness or clear mind, and then we surrender, a beautiful surrender to the co-creation in that state. As you've surrendered to that pure vibration, then allow your mind, this is just in the intention you set in advance or just intuitively, because you're not consciously keeping notes and looking at them. You're letting your intuition just guide this. But the next step is to be curious with your energy. Begin to lean forward into what it is that you are experiencing, affirming it and allowing it to become more of whatever it is. Even if you are seeing nothing, as people sometimes say, there's always something. Even the nothing is something. So be curious about the nothing. What is it like? What does it feel, look, sound like? I mean, it has to be something because you are. I think, therefore I am, So whatever is there for you. So be curious about it and continue to affirm that the intention is unfolding. So there are many different imagery experiences that can happen as we have the intention to review a past life. So we know that's the intention. So then perhaps a scene of some kind will reveal itself to you. Now, again, I'm saying it sounds like all in visual, but when a scene is available to you, if I close my eyes right now, I have a specific sense of what is here, and that's still imagery. Everything that's happening in the imaginal mind with the imaginal senses is imagery. So I just want to say that because we all have different preferences of our imaginal senses or inner senses, or you might say your psychic senses. It's all the same thing. So we accept the imagery that is coming through, and we continue to be curious about it and be grateful for it. And then the part of the curiosity is, what are the lessons that are being shown here that have to relate to what your intention was, which was to expand the awareness to the soul's journey so that you could integrate it to this journey, because it's feeling a little too tight, which is why you want to go home, you starseed. So accept all of your imagery and allow it to just fill you up, and allow any lessons or exploration to happen, to be co-created with you. And then as that imagery journey, as the trance journey is beginning to end and you are coming to the place to resurface, then you want to set the intention that you have received downloads, that you are receiving downloads right now, and that they will continue to unpack, because it isn't only about this moment. We have a delayed reaction when we do our meditation and any of our spiritual seeking and devotional time. So we affirm that downloads will continue to unpack. We also agree to notice any synchronicities as they are being offered as a part of the downloads unpacking. And then we affirm that we will accept the unfolding of this journey to continue in the best way that it will benefit our highest good of the mind, body, and spirit. And so that is the sealing of the session as you are coming up. And then as you are completing your meditation, your trance, you want to completely wake yourself up. We want to come to the fully awakened state when you've done a meditation of any kind. And maybe especially if you've done a trance, we want to seal the work and wake completely up. Because when you are in meditation or in self-hypnosis, you're in a highly suggestible state, which is good when you're being suggestible to spirit and to the loving universe. But we want to be conscious and fully awake when we are engaging with the world. And so some ways that you might wake yourself up is you might count yourself up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake and alert. And you may say it out loud. That's what hypnotherapists do. Some way to actually wake them up. In ceremonial magic, they tend to clap to seal the work. And so it is. An amen, a so it is, and know that you are closing down the trance session and waking up, because this is important also. And if you involve your body with snapping or clapping or something like that, or moving your body in a certain way, this activates the embodiment principles. So those downloads that we affirmed, we have affirmed them into the energy, and we're also affirming them into the energy of the body. The embodiment principle is the manifestation principle. If I have embodied it, I am creating it, and it is manifesting. So we want to fully awaken ourselves so that we're not highly suggestible, but also so that we can activate the universal embodiment principle. Okay, that's what I have for you in this video today. I want to remind you that I have a podcast on this subject covering different areas of it. So do please go and listen, subscribe, share, leave a review on the podcast. And please click the bell if you enjoyed this episode, so that you will subscribe and click the bell so that you can get notifications when more of these episodes are coming out. And I appreciate you so much for being here. I hope to see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.